Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Project Freedom Radio Network. We have our special guest today, Dr. Winifred Barton. And we're going to talk on the subject, I think, of Amazing Grace today, right, Winifred? Okay.
Amazing Grace. And we think of the way the white races have treated the black races across the annals of time. And we have found weight in the National Geographic, which talks about the Nubians, who, when we were still in the cave, the black races were on top of in heap. And this has gone on over the ages, right till this now, right to this week in the space-time curriculum. And the way we went over there and we took these kids and these innocent people and put them in slave ships and used them as slaves and gave them this horrific treatment and raped their women and so on and so forth. And we think of Amazing Grace to save a wretch like me. Now, we white races consider ourselves Christians. And when I was a young woman, 90 years ago, we used to put a farthing in the box for the starving kids in Africa, in poor country. There are more starving kids today than they were 90 years ago, 100 years ago. And the money that has been made in armaments is what has been keeping the world running. Money is king of the world. It has power beyond our imagination. It is the secret of sin behind just about every move that was made. So we have to go back to the Garden of Eden. There were two trees in the Garden of Eden. The tree of knowledge and the tree of life. The tree of life takes us right through natural magic, natural healing, things like that. The tree of knowledge has given us every deadly weapon that exists on this earth today. And what we have in our W5, we have religion, science, psychology, philosophy. Science is wiping out our old ideas of religion. Psychology is saying, who am I? What am I? And we're at this point in time when we can say, I am the perfect person that you have been waiting for across all time. And we're talking billions of years. Billions, and I do say that with a B and not an M. And we understand that we probably originated from a dust speck that went with the Big Bang, the original Big Bang. And I'm suggesting to you, it's time for Big Bang 2. Now, Big Bang 2. It's in the head. If you can think of an inner kingdom and an outer kingdom. In the outer kingdom we pay the rent. You know, and we do all of the things that our super ego has been we taught. Ego is the driving force. yang. Yin is the observer. And I like to think of taking a tightrope off Niagara Falls, and we have to keep this balance of our yin and yang totally balanced. Meaning we have to spend part of our time podcasting, broadcasting, and part of our time pondering in the inner kingdom. And we are subjects of two kingdoms. And now we come to our topic. Amazing grace. Oh, how great thou art to save a wretch like me. And I do not think there's a white person on this planet that cannot say that. I'm not saying that other colours can't say it too. But our whole continent, North America, was built on slave labour. And not just North America, all around. And there are still countries in this world where women are not only second-class citizens, they get stoned to death if they look cross-eyed at anything. And so, at the time of my personal UFO abduction, which was many, many years ago, we were given an order of preference of how the world should be put in perfect order. And the first order was First Nations rights to land. Now we come here in North America and the first thing we do is grab off all the First Nations rights and treat them and say, oh, we're going to turn you into Christians. Never mind your religion. Whereas their religion, and at this point I would like to say that I'm a proud member of the Circle of Ancient Peacekeepers, which is an Aboriginal group. And their first law is keep in touch with the Great White Spirit. Now, the Great White Spirit is the Holy Ghost. And the Holy Ghost is grace. Oh, how great thou art to save wretches like us, fish-bellied whites. That's for openers. Now, the great moment of my life was when my granddaughter married a black African. And I got myself golden grandchildren. And they are worth their weight in gold. It's the way of life. And the idea of blending the one blood. Every human being on this earth can give blood. You understand, and they don't say is it white blood or is it black blood. It is a number, you know, it's your DNA number. So we can prove that we are one planet, one people. And I, who spent my life working for the United Nations of planet Earth, can now see this in the rearview mirror. At the present time, with this Mark Brown Institute, you know, in the now, right down in North America, it's a global problem that must be addressed instantly. One planet, one people, one race, one justice, one set of laws that every child born on this planet is equal to every other child on this planet. They've got a right to education, they've got a right to food, they've got a right to clean water. And that is the way it is.
Welcome back to Project Freedom Radio Network, and in our second segment here, Winifred and I are going to do some chatting back and forth, okay, because we've been talking about different stuff off camera, and we thought that it'd be worthwhile putting it back on camera. So, you go ahead, Win, where you were.
The Bartonian Metaphysical Society.
That's the BMS cap she's wearing.
Yes. Body, mind and spirit. I am 91. I can still dance. I can still do things. My doctor says that my health is 19-year-old, not a 91-year-old. Now that is Dr. Weatherall, who's right here in Belleville.
Right.
And Belleville, through the mirror, you know, Bill reclaimed. Now, Keegan and Belleville are synonymous in the minds of the great many people. Over the ages, right till this now, right to this week in the space-time curriculum. And the way we went over there and we took these kids and these innocent people and put them in slave ships. And
Special guest today, Dr. Winifred Barton. And we're going to talk on the subject, I think, of Amazing Grace today, right, Winifred? Okay.
Amazing Grace. And we think of the way the white races have treated the black races across the annals of time. And used them as slaves and gave them this horrific treatment. And raped their women and so on and so forth. And we think of Amazing Grace to save a wretch like me. We have found weight in the National Geographic, which talks about the Nubians, who, when we were still in the cave, the black races were on top of the in heap. And this has gone on.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Project Freedom Radio Network. We have our special